Attention please, passengers for Qatar Airways Flight 703 to New York. John F. Kennedy, please proceed to Gate E7 for boarding.
And passengers for Qatar Airways Flight 892 on the brand new iniBuilds A350 update, please proceed to Gate Echo 1 for boarding. And with that, hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome to the latest iniBuilds A350 update together with their brand new Doha airport. Today we're going to fly the A350 over to Beijing, and this is going to be about a 7-hour 20 flight with about as weird of a route as geopolitics can make it, but more on that when we actually get into the aircraft. For the time being, a quick message from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that is not just covering your standard IFR A to B flight, but that's also doing other things such as data link or VFR, then be sure to check them out using the link in the video description or the pinned comment below. And with all of that, let's give you a little taste of how Say Intentions works by using it on today's flight. So, join me in the cockpit of our Airbus A350 for today's flight to Beijing. So we're going to start with a couple of the basics over here, taking a seat on the captain's seat, and we can see that the new Doha scenery just looks really, really amazing. Honestly, they've done an awesome job on this. They really have. Just look at beautiful terminal, especially at night. Especially at night. Alright, but we're not here just to talk about how great the new Doha looks, we're here to have a look at the new A350 update as well. And you will probably notice the first thing straight on, that's the heads-up displays. They're now visually mounted in the flight deck. You also have the switches up here in the front, but you don't have animated functionally just yet. That's still a work in progress, so don't be surprised that we are not putting them down over here. This is fully intentional at the moment. Now, with all of that out of the way, welcome aboard our Airbus A350-900 on today's flight. If you are wondering, no, I'm not using the new cabin packs because that just kills my RAM together with all the AI traffic that we're about to spawn in a few moments and the high definition textures and everything. That's just a bit too much for my 4090. So we will just be using the no cabin option, as well, generally I'm not a cabin fan anyway. These things have their place, but I'm not one of those places. Alright, so let's get straight into it and start setting our aircraft up. So, preliminary flight deck preparation, engine start levers off, engine start selector on, thrust levers idle, landing gear down, wipers off. We don't need to check the batteries because power is obviously already on. But here is something that we do need to check, and that's connecting the air conditioning unit, because otherwise it might become a little bit too warm in here. Don't ask me how I know. Don't ask me how I know. Let's see, condition page, yeah, 33 degrees in the cabin. Let's get those air conditioning units going down here so that we don't need to run the APU for the entire time. Now, since the aircraft power is applied, we can turn on the 380 rules. Then we can do our recall for 21, 22, 23. And there's nothing in here. Dispatch page is not simulated just yet, but hopefully gonna come soon. Then we can do the fire test, which is working just fine. But we're not gonna start the APU just yet. So with all of that done, let's go down into our OAS. And first things first, we will import our assembly flight plan. And here we are. So let's take a look at the OFP. So the routing is a fairly easy one today. Let's have a look at that. So we are going to depart Doha, across the Persian Gulf, across Dubai, and then we are going to fly via Pakistan all the way up and eventually into China and through China. It's quite amazing. We're just overflying 4 countries on a 7-hour and 20 flight. Now, from here, let's have a look into the significant weather chart. You can see the first half of the flight is pretty clear until eventually we get to northern Pakistan here, where we've got some occasional CBs up to level 480, Then we've got this area number 1, which down here is moderate turbulence up to level 400. Going a little bit further down then through China, we've got this area over here, which is actually a clear area. So that one down here is number 1, that one up here number 2. So this should all be clear. And then eventually going into Beijing, we have this area number 1 over here, which is moderate turbulence to level 400. So not too shabby overall. It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. So then let's just go back out a little bit and have a look into the airport weather. So down here it is. Starting with the departure airport in Doha, very good weather conditions, clear skies, 37 degrees. And now our destination in Beijing Daxing is actually fairly good, a little bit reduced visibilities, which is normal for the area. And apart from that, beautiful weather. Our alternate Binhai is same, with few CBs forecast, but we should be long gone by the time those arrive. And the same goes for the other alternates, which are basically all good except for this one. However, that weather is long outside our arrival period, so generally no problem in terms of the weather conditions. Fairly warm everywhere, but that's completely okay. Now, we do have 2 ETOPS airports, which are Daiwopu and Zhongshuan also. In any case, we can see the weather is very good at the first one. On the second one, we've got this little bit of fog overnight, but then you can see it's quickly becoming good again. So by the time we get there, it should be absolutely fine. All right. Now let's have a look into the plan itself. An on-time departure at 23:10, which is in, 25 minutes. Plenty of time available. Results in an on-time arrival in Beijing, in the new Beijing, I should say, Daxing Airport from Thai models. And we are uncritical in terms of the weights. Then let's have a look into the fuel section. And down here, well, there's pretty much nothing interesting now there. Arrival fuel 5.5 plus contingency. So let's play that up a bit. 51.8 plus 600. Well, let's call it 53 tons, and then we should be good to go. So load sheet, let's see, SimRef import. And we're gonna turn this into 53. Like that. Set fuel, and well, let's do a realistic refueling here. It will take a while, so don't be surprised there. So refueling is in progress. Even though for some reason the refuel panel door open message shows twice, not 100% sure why that is. May or may not be a feature. And refueling is in progress. Alright, excellent. So zero fuel weight is set, and then we can head over into sim menus. So GSX, request boarding please. And with GSX boarding requested, let's go down into the takeoff performance, synchronize SimBrief, DOHA 3-4 right, full length, and we'll synchronize the weather as well, compute. And just to check that the weather is actually current, let's go down here, cross-check A350 900, database up to date, delete any of that previously stored stuff. And then we can go into the init page and request our company flight plan. And while we're doing that, okay, that was quick. Insert, Qatari 892, here it is. That's all looking very good. Then let's head down into the ATC comms. We're going to use say intentions today. And then we can go for the D8s and update the weather for all those airports. And here we go. Hamad International Airport information, Bravo, 275 at 5, Carbog 3690903. And that's pretty much what it's uploaded as well. Alright, perfect. We'll leave the packs on over here. That's just for passenger comfort reasons. And that's good. Max takeoff weight 329. Performance limited, so we are good to go. Lovely. So last thing for us to do down here is to get our charts. So DOHA search, APC main terminal, and a GC, and then we just need our departure charts. RMP sits 3-4 right. That looks like something. So according to the OFP, we've got the Cupro 1 Echo departure, and that's the one. Perfect, so we can pin this one as well. Unfortunately, they still don't have the SID PT charts, but, well, we gotta live with this. Alright, good. So let's go back into the FlatOps menu and into the AOC message. Let's see what we got here. It's weather, low treat. Alright, 280 passengers, and that's looking pretty good. So quite similar weights to what we had in our flight planner as well, with a CG at 26.15. Okay, excellent. So that's good. So we are done down here. Then let's get ourselves back into a proper seating position first of all. Okay, so the oxygen pressures are fine, rain repellent level is normal. Let's see about the hydraulics. They are okay. So engine, I'm kind of too lazy to look around, so let's just power the FADEC using the engine start switch. Okay, and the engine oil quantity is full. Wonderful. Okay, lovely. So, flaps are up, spoilers as well. That agrees with the lever position. Lovely. Then we don't need to do much more stuff down here. So let's go into the surveillance page. Ensure the transponder is off, the weather radar is off. And ATC com page, message record, all messages. That's just the ATIS, is it? Yeah, just ATIS. That's fine. Erase. Okay, no stored messages and ADSC is connected. Beautiful. Alright, so that's our preliminary pre-flight procedure completed. You might notice a little bit of lagging in the video occasionally here. That's just because while I'm recording this, my VRAM simply maxes out at the scenery. DOHA is rather intensive on the VRAM, so yeah, that's something to keep in mind. We're still refueling, so we're going to keep the fuel pumps off for the time being. And over here, well, we don't need any heating in our forward cargo compartment. Voice recorder is looking good, and then let's get down. So, D-ATIS, QNH 90903. Here we go, that's set. Everything up here is set as well. So, down to the frequencies. We want to listen to VHF 1, we want to listen to VHF 2, and we want to listen to the intercom. Right, in the middle everything's set, and you basically get the same setup that we have. 7 hours 20 flight time, definitely something you can do with 2 pilots, so we're not going to need any, we're not going to need a third ACP, so we're going to put the transponder onto there. Well, and with that out of the way, let's get into our flight plan setup. Now, let's get that table out. Here we go. Can turn on the light for that as well. Alright, so give me your feedback as to how you like my idea of setting up the flight plan like this. I know that if you are watching this on a mobile, it might be difficult to actually be able to follow, but since most of you are watching on larger devices, just let me know your feedback, because I usually just zoom in so incredibly much. I want to try something different today. So, Qatari 892 is cross-checked from Doha to Beijing, alternate in Tango Juliet, that Tianjin or something the likes. Initial flight level 350 is correct. And up there we've got minus 38 degrees. So minus 38, and the tropopause is in 58,000. Like this. Cosnx 50 is okay. Wind data request. So IRS, that's looking good. Then we can go on to our departure. Runway 34 right. And our SID is going to be the Cupri 1 Echo departure. Or Cupro 1 Echo departure. Alright, Tempe and insert. And for the arrival in the Beijing, runway 17 right is active at the moment with an ILS Zulu approach. Our star is the Lapu 5 Lima. Here it is, and via Alpha Delta 461. Alright, Tempe and insert. Now let's bring up the departure chart. Zoom in a little bit. And over here we can go into the plan mode with constraints. So straight ahead to add bit or 500, whichever is later. And we've got that. Then it's going to be a right-hand turn towards Ottmob above 1500, maximum 210 knots. Saga below 4000, Lotum. And then we continue via Aslan towards Cupro below flight level 250. And we've got all of those. Lovely. Okay, so nav aids, we don't need anything and there's nothing pre-selected. Now for the fuel and the load. Let's have a look into the preliminary load sheet we had. Come on, those are... We looked at those. Stop flashing. Okay, so that's a zero fuel weight of 180.2. So 180.2. CG 29.4. And the block fuel still fueling at the moment. What does it say in there? Takeoff 51.8. We ordered 53, so let's just enter 53. What is it doing? 50? It's not recognizing the 5. Now it is. Strange. Okay, no further comment on that. So back down into the flight plan, let's find the fuel section. Here it is. So alternate fuel is 3.1. Reserves are gonna be 3% and final will be 2.5 exactly. Wonderful. Alright, good. So that's here. Then let's return and go forward to the takeoff performance page where we can take our performance calculation from here and send that to the FMS. Confirm that's with the packs on, anti-ice off, no shift, and NADP2, engine out acceleration in 1510, like this. Position monitor, OTHH 34 right. Now for the secondary flight plan, import active. F-plan. So, insert next waypoint, and that's going to be DOHA X. Let's see, 34 right should be number 4 according to the alphabet. And that's going to be based on OTHH 34 right. Terminal chart, so initial bearing 336. And the distance 25 miles. Alright, store waypoint, and here it is. Then hold, that's all looking good. We'll take, let's see, 1 minute of lag time. And then we can do an immediate return, so new destination. Back to OTHH. And over here we'll arrive on runway 34 right with an ILS approach. Okay, and that is our EO set. Yeah, that's looking fantastic. So back to the flight plan. The full flight plan. Okay, fix info. OTHH 34 right.
640, radar contact.
Radial 336. And the emergency fix, that's gonna be DO X4. Alright, fantastic. So that's the EO set. Then let's just copy the active into secondary number 2. And that's it. And I think that's really everything we need to do down here. So, back to the flight plan and the performance, and you can have the flight plan on yours. Alright, wonderful. So 4,000 is going to be the initial climb, which is set. No, not the brake fan. Okay, so let's get the airport map down here. And I'm not pressing any button on purpose right now, just waiting until this has loaded, because that's the easiest way to freeze the airplane. At least in the past it used to be. Still loading. It's a rather complex airport, Doha. Here we go. Wonderful. So our airport map is loaded. Then we can set the QNH at 90903. Here we go. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Alright, cool. So we have basically set everything down here. We're just waiting for the refueling to complete, which will be done very, very soon. Then let's go ahead and tune our frequencies. I have no idea why they actually tune some center frequency as default here. So delivery 120875. And active. So ground, let's see, we're on the west side, so 118575 I guess. Like this. ATIS departure 12685. And then we also need 1215.
Zulu. Wind.
We don't actually have to listen to this now. Okay, so that's everything set. Now, I tend to say before we do the briefing, let's go ahead and get our clearance. So, ATC.com, we have information Bravo. So, request, clearance, departure. So, we're at gate 121, and the ATIS is Bravo. So, Doha 121, Bravo, A359, destination Beijing. That looks good. Transfer the mailbox. And request pre-departure clearance Qatar 892 A359 to Beijing at stand 121 ATIS Bravo. That looks fairly correct to me. Alright, cool. Sent. Very nice. So we're just waiting for the clearance to come back. Refueling is complete. And then we can also start the APU. Alright, lovely. So, while we're waiting, let's do our departure briefing. And for that, I will just use Captain's OAS on Senai over here, because that allows me to get the charts down here. Nice. Okay, so we've got a Doha 3-4 ride. Cupro 1 Echo departure. Initial climb is going to be, here's the clearance to 4,000 as expected. MSA is on the departure chart. Let me show you. So the MSA is 2,300, and extra fuel and time, well, it says 0 at the moment, but believe me, once we're in the air, that is going to change. Okay, apart from that, I've got nothing special or non-standard, so now it's my turn, and I'm just going to press Wilco and print. Okay, so now for the second part of the briefing. Hotspots for taxi routing. That's why I had the chart open originally. You're up here, most likely you push to the north and then out via Charlie southbound to the full length. There's no hotspots over here. Stop margin in case of RTO will be plenty. It's still 35 degrees outside, but I don't think it's going to be too Well, immediate return, 3-4 right, overweight. So we do the overweight landing procedure. And I've got nothing special on non-standard on this one. 210 knot restriction on our sit, so keeping that in mind. Clean speed is 211, so yeah, we can clean up. That 1 knot doesn't really matter. Okay, do you have questions, comments, or concerns? No? Do you have threats? Well, one possible threat. Let's just have a look at the en route chart over here. So it would be lovely if we could move this, but unfortunately we can't, so let me show you like this. You can clearly see how our route goes around Iran. So we are exactly flying along the border and then into Pakistan. However, GPS jamming could possibly be an issue on this flight. If it happens, we got the procedure in the QRH. The most important thing there is just to switch the clock to internal. And anything else is going to come by itself then. So yeah, that's really it. Do you have questions? No? Lovely, so that's our briefing complete. Well, let me just do one more thing. It's going down here and step outs. Because we forgot to enter those earlier. So let's see, at Tonvo we climb to flight level 370. That's over here. Tonvo 370. Then next is going to be Saiyan, level 390. Did anyone watch Dragon Ball? Put it in the comments below. Here we are. So, at Saiyan, flight level 390. And then we've got 391 at Purpa, which is the entry into Chinese airspace. So, Purpa, here it is. And that's gonna be flight level 391. Okay, cool. And last but not least, we do have Quebec, Juliet November Quebec in flight level 411. So, Juliet November Quebec 411. Enter. Okay, lovely. So that's our step points inserted. And now let's see what it predicts for the arrival fuel. It's not amber, that's a good start. But it doesn't predict anything yet. Okay. Fair enough, I don't care. Here we go. Half a ton, 5 minutes extra. Lovely. Alright, so we have 280 passengers on board, and with that we assume our load sheet to be done. Let's just see real quick. 180.2 and 30.9. 180.2 is correct. 30.9. Why did it enter 0? And GSX just crashed. Yeah, because why not? It's been sitting there idle. Why wouldn't it crash? It's GSX. Okay, I don't care. Look at that, the stuttering is becoming less without GSX. No comment on that, huh? Okay, it doesn't matter. 31.3 is the gross weight CG. And if we just synchronize that again, that's the latest weather now, compute and send, then we can be sure to have the latest data. Alright, here it is. Perfect. So with all of that out of the way, let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. So, gear bits and covers removed. Fuel quantity 53,000 kilograms balanced. Barrel reference QNH 909R3. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Lovely. Okay, wonderful. So, let's see if GSX has actually restarted. GSX menu, prepare for pushback and departure. So, ACU can go. Let's see. APU is operating. Packs coming on. And external power is going off. Okay, lovely. So then let's call delivery and request our startup clearance. call sign is DOHA. Okay. DOHA delivery Qatari 892 heavy request startup.
Qatari 8902, cleared to Beijing Daxing via the Copper 1 Echo departure. Then as filed, departure runway 34 right, initial climb altitude 4,000 feet. Departure on 119.725, squawk 6562.
Qatari 8902, cleared to Beijing via Copper 1 Echo departure, runway 34 right, climb 4,000. Departure 119.725, say again the squawk. That came unexpected. Because we already had a clearance.
Qatari 8902, read back correct. Ground will be on 120.225.
120.225, Qatari 892. Okay, so here's our clearance. So, clear to Beijing, that's exactly the same she told us, squawk 6562. Alright, and that's active. Wonderful. We're on the ground frequency. Ground from flight deck. Please confirm all doors and hatches closed, ground equipment removed, and bypass pin installed. Yes, Captain, all confirmed. Okay, thank you very much. We're calling for pushback clearance. Doha ground, Qatari 892 heavy request pushback and startup.
Qatari 8902, pushback and startup approved. Face east.
Pushback and startup approved, face east, Qatari 8902. Okay, before start checklist. Park and brake. Set. Takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 151, VR 156, V2 160, flex 57. Slides. I don't know why it's not doing that automatically. I mean, it would make sense, wouldn't it? In any case. Slides armed. Nozzle steering disconnect memo. Checked. And that's the before start checklist complete.
Qatari 8902, contact tower on 118.025.
118.025, Qatari 892. Alright, so ground flight, push approved facing east, and the park and brake is still... Well, the park and brake is now released. Roger, start the pushback and stand by for engines. So, he's handed us over to the tower already. That probably means it's late enough that they are closing ground. No, I'm just joking. I don't know why he did that. I don't think ground would close on an airport like Doha. I really don't know. Okay, so ground. We're ready for our engine start.
Qatari 892 holding short runway 34 right, ready for departure.
Oh. There is another Qatari 892.
Winds 275 at 5, runway 34 right, cleared for takeoff.
Okay.
34 right, cleared for takeoff, Qatari 892.
Well, that explains what's going on here. Let's go ahead and start engine number 1.
Switching to departure,
And then we're going to switch back to ground. So, what's happening here is I'm flying the flight at exactly the real-world timing. 23:10 is the scheduled off-block time. And therefore, since Say Intentions is using real-world flight plans, there is an AI Qatari 892 as well. Now that's something I'm going to report, that a double call sign should certainly be eliminated. I mean, it would make sense if it's only the user flying
IFLY
a flight, right?
Give way to the Qatari 789.
Okay, so
Qatari 789, IFLY 1346.
we could start engine number 1, starting engine number 2. Clear 2. So the start valve is closed. Let's actually start number 2 straight away. even before the avail comes on. You can commence engine start as soon as the start valve is closed, and engine 1 is available. The reason I'm doing this is because engine start does take 2 or 3 minutes, and with 36 degrees outside, that is not nice for our passengers. Okay, push complete, set brakes. Brakes out.
Qatari 39er Quebec request push and start.
Qatari 39er Quebec, push and start approved.
Okay,
approved.
so
Qatari 39er
number
Quebec.
2 is starting. We're waiting for the ground crew to lower us down.
Qatari 50 Romeo ready to taxi.
Terminal really looks good, doesn't it?
Qatari 50 Romeo, taxi to runway 34 right via Sierra 2, Sierra 1, cross runway 34 left, then Sierra Charlie.
Okay, ground, we have 2 good engine starts.
34 right via Sierra 2, Sierra 1, cross runway 34 left, then Sierra, Charlie, Qatari 50 Romeo.
And here we go. Number 1
Qatari
is available.
807, give way to the company A330 on your right.
We'll give way to the company A330, Qatari 807.
Okay, the trim is set. We're waiting for the ground crew to disconnect everything. The pin is removed now. Just gotta ensure we see their clear signal. But with the pin removed and the tuck removed, the ramp agent shouldn't be too far away. Is he anywhere here? There he is. Okay, so that's the clear signal received. Flight control check, please. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral rudder, full left, full right,
348 ready for pushback.
neutral. After start checklist, please.
Qatari 8348,
So
cleared for
engineers,
push and start.
off, flight controls checked, ground clearance received.
Push
After
and
start
start
checklist
approved.
complete.
Qatari 8348.
Qatari 8902, request taxi.
Qatari 39er Quebec ready to taxi.
Qatari 39er Quebec, taxi to runway 34 right via Sierra 4,
And of course the
Sierra
other one
1,
gets his clearance
cross
first.
runway 34 left, then Sierra Charlie. Qatari 892, taxi to runway 34 right via Echo 4, Echo 1, Charlie, Alpha.
Taxi 34 right via Echo 4, Echo 1, Charlie Alpha, Qatari 8902. Okay, so Echo 4, Echo 1, Charlie Alpha. That's basically straight, right turn, Charlie, and Alpha is the very end. Okay, we can do that. So, lights coming on, lights going off, brake released. Clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Let's go. Brake check, brakes okay. So, quite a bit of traffic here. And look at how much thrust we need to get that airplane to move. That's the effect of the temperature, my friends. Because we aren't particularly heavy. It's really the temperatures.
Qatari 9er Alpha ready for pushback.
Qatari 9er Alpha, push and start approved.
Pushback and start approved. Qatari 9er Alpha.
Qatari 8348 ready to taxi.
Qatari 8348,
So, next route is
taxi to
Delta.
runway
We are
34
not
right
gonna take that
via
one.
Sierra 4, Sierra 1, cross
think we're
runway
behind the
34
Indigo
left,
on
then
the-
Sierra Charlies.
34 right via Sierra
Okay,
4,
there's
Sierra
the
1, cross
company
runway
Dreamliner
34
coming
left,
over there.
then Sierra, Charlie
But he
Qatari
didn't say anything,
8348.
so as long as he doesn't comment on it, I'm gonna go as number 1. If you look at how slow the Dreamliner is going, then that's probably what he's instructed him already. The ground textures are something that I just really appreciate on this scenery. I mean, look at the lovely lights. This looks fantastic, doesn't it? In general, I think DOHA is one of the better sceneries that iniBuilds has recently released. Not to say one of the best ones they've done in a long time. I really like this one. I really do. So, no need to hurry. There's 1, 2, 3 aircraft ahead of us, plus some landing traffic. It's probably going to take a little time. But we can make good use of that time by
1156 ready for push and start.
Going over the briefing. So, no changes to the takeoff briefing.
Pushback approved, Qatari 1156.
Takeoff config.
Qatari 9er Alpha ready to taxi.
Walk.
Qatari Niner Alpha, taxi to runway 34 right via Sierra 4,
Set.
Sierra 1, cross runway 34 left, then Sierra
So we're just
Charlie.
waiting for the cabin signal.
34 right via Sierra 4, Sierra 1, cross runway 34 left, then Sierra Charlie Qatari 9er Alpha. Qatari 892, contact tower on 118.025.
118.025, Qatari 892.
Hifley 48 Papa, ready to taxi.
Okay, so everything's looking good over here. Takeoff config is checked. Taxi checklist, please. And I'll tell you what, let's quickly finish up the checklist. Okay, so taxi checklist. Flap setting. Config 1 plus F. Radar. On. Taxi checklist complete. DOHA Qatari 892 Heavy, ready for departure. So the Indigo is
Qatari 892 Heavy, Hamad Tower, runway 34 right, hold short, A320 on the runway.
Hold short 34 right, Qatari 892.
Qatari 892 Heavy, Hamad Tower, runway 34 right, winds 280 at 7, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 34 right, clear for takeoff, Qatari 892 Heavy.
Qatari 1156, hold short of runway 34 left.
Prepare for departure. So the packs remain on.
34L holding short, Qatari 1156.
Okay, looks good. Then let's do the lineup checklist, please. So, cabin secured, takeoff runway, 34 right, full length, packs 1 and 2 on, lineup checklist complete. And the approach area is clear. So, we have sufficient separation to the aircraft that departed ahead of us. I'd say everything's good, and we're clear for takeoff. Takeoff. Manflex 57 SRS runway auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Look at how slow the acceleration is. You really feel those 38 degrees, 110 knots.
V.
Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. Autopilot 1. So, look at the city. And listen to those sounds. Sound pack is really good. thrust decline, climb auto thrust. So, packs are on anyway.
Qatari 8902, contact departure.
Contact departure, Qatari 8902. Door departure, Qatari 8902 heavy, passing 1,500, climbing 4,000. Flap 0.
Qatari 8902 heavy, Doha departure, radar contact. Climb via the SID to flight level 250.
Climb via SID, flight level 250, Qatari 8902 heavy. Alt 4000 magenta. That's how I love it. That's how I absolutely love it. Those nighttime departures when you see something, beautiful. I mean, look at all those light emissions over here. The air must be rather dusty at the moment for it to look that way, but that's just beautiful, isn't it? That's what I love about nighttime flying. And I tell you what, talk about nighttime, let's dim these a little bit further. This is better, isn't it?
Qatari Engineers 70, contact Doha Center on 132.
Okay, we don't need the timer anymore. And bring down the intake lights somewhat as well.
Over to Doha Center on 132.975, Qatari 970.
Speed all constraint star, climb blue. And here we go, accelerating. So he said climb via SID, that means Serga below 4,000. All constraint. All right. Look at Milky Way up there. Graphics are superb, aren't they? Like, really, really impressive. Really, really impressive. So, past Serga we can continue our climb. Then we got the Kupro below level 250 restriction and we'll be in flight level 198 anyway, so that's easy going. So, acceleration flow pattern, flaps up, speed brakes retracted, landing gear up and packs on. And that's our acceleration flow pattern completed. So, look at this. Could you tell where the horizon is? Maybe. Because you can see that below this line over here there is no more stars. But imagine a couple of vessels on the water and there would be absolutely no way to tell where the ocean is and where the sky is. Scary. Thrust decline, climb, alt 25,000 blue. And here we go. Continuing the climb. So, since we're not gonna see anything outside anyway, let's go ahead and turn the dome light on. That way we can at least see something inside our flight deck. And the floodlight can come back on a bit as well. Lovely. Okay, so from here on it's more or less a straight line. Now let's bring up the en route chart. I think this is all we're gonna need. And look at that. This is full derated climb thrust. We're just doing not even 2,000 feet a minute. And we're not heavy. We're like 50 tons below the max takeoff weight. But here's your reason. ISA plus 25. Plus 40 degrees. I'm fairly sure iniBuilds does not take the temperature into account, otherwise the optimum over here would probably be lower. I suppose that's why SimReef plants us at level 350, while this one tells us 376. The real Airbus does take everything into account, of course, so the real one would tell you a temperature and atmosphere corrected optimum flight level. That's of course provided that data is in there, so let's just do another wind data request here, just to be sure we actually have the latest data on board. So inserting that stuff, wind, cruise. Okay, level 350 minus 38 degrees, that actually looks quite okay. So yeah, that is all looking good. And at level 370 minus 43. Look at that, it's actually varying with the different waypoints. So everything is perfectly uplinked over here. Very nice. Okay, wonderful. That's pretty cool. So we had a very long taxi. Let's see what that's done to our arrival time. Yeah, 7:01. The schedule is 700, I believe. Yeah,
Qatar
700.
9070, contact UAE Center on 125 decimal 925.
Okay, let's see if we can make that up by going a bit faster. Cost NX 100. Let's see if that makes any difference at all. Nope. Same. Okay. Can't change it. That's fine. And we'll just continue like this. In any case, we do have sufficient fuel on board, so that's the most important thing going into China. So look at that, the 7 Oscar X-ray isn't climbing very quickly either. Actually, he seems level. Is he going to... Perhaps he's going to Abu Dhabi or something. I don't know, can we get some info about that? Surveillance, traffic, Qatari, 70 X-ray, what do we know? Wake turbulence medium, yeah, level in 120. But we can't tell where he's going, okay, that's fine. It's quite cool what these modern aircraft can do, isn't it? Okay, passing 10,000. Lights off, signs, yeah, into auto, that's fine. And then we'll stay on weather. Yeah, you're gonna get weather as well. Terrain will become more important later, but we can always switch. And I think that's it. So, there is nothing in the nav aids, and we talked about the optimum versus cruise earlier. We do have a step climb here in, yeah, 240 miles. That's fine. We might as well request 370 straight away to avoid the first step climb. I tell you what, we're gonna lock on the data link. So ATC com, connect. Let's see, we are gonna be in UAE next, and that's Oscar Mike, Delta Mike. Alright, and notify. So, notified OMDM at 2338. And let's see if they're gonna lock on, or if they're gonna accept the notification. Might take a little while since we're still in Qatari airspace until Cupro, I think. But in any case, I will request the higher level the moment I get the possibility via data link. Alright, and I think that's all I gotta offer you for now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this beautiful flight with us. And if anything interesting happens, any GPS jamming or anything else, then I will let you know. Oh, and look at that, active OMDM. Wonderful, so then we can quickly send our altitude request as well. So, request, Vertical, climb 2, flight level 370. Enter. And we're gonna do that at Cupro. Alright, transfer to mailbox and send. The reason I'm sending it this way is because otherwise they cannot give us that clearance before Cupro. This way it's clear in the system because this has logged on to UAE already. And if they now give us the answer climb level 370 after Cupro, then they haven't violated the airspace from Qatar. Alright, so that is sent. Then we are approaching the transition altitude, set standard. Standard cross check, passing flight level 3134 now. Checked. Alright. Look at that, 1,000 feet a minute. Alright guys, I'll see you a little bit later as we either start the approach or as something interesting happens. Alrighty, we're getting close to Beijing. Actually, we're getting pretty close to Beijing, as we are already on the arrival route, passing 13,500 feet, or to be a little bit more correct, I should say, passing 4,050 meters, since we're in China.
Qatari 8902, contact capital approach on 119.0.
119.0, Qatari 8902. Okay, so that's going to be approach, and they want to hear that we've got information Yankee. Capital approach, Qatari 892, heavy information Yankee, descending 3,000 meters.
Qatari 8902 heavy, capital approach identified. Good afternoon. Expect the ILS Yankee runway 17 right approach into Daxing.
Request ILS Zulu 17 right, Qatari 892.
Qatari 8902 Heavy, cleared for the ILS Zulu approach to runway 17 right at Beijing Daxing. Maintain present heading and altitude until established on the localizer.
Qatari 892, ILS Zulu, runway 17 right. I'm not going to comment on the fact that they just cleared us for it with maintain present heading and altitude, because that doesn't make any sense. So we'll just continue along the arrival down here. Anyway, the FCU is down to the platform altitude, and that way our FMS can take care of any of those Chinese restrictions over here. And with Chinese restrictions, I particularly mean those meter restrictions here, which are calculated or converted into feet on our arrival chart and in our FMS. But you can see we've got this lovely conversion chart down here. So for example, for those 5,910 feet over here, ATC would actually tell us descend 1,800 meters. And that's how this works.
China Eastern 2112, contact Beijing Control on 133.1.
Okay, so we've pretty much fitted everything into our FMS, and we are following the arrival on the download over here. So I suppose we are going to get into the briefing as soon as we've done our 10,000 foot items. So lights on, signs on, LS is selected, and then we do have no fixed nav aids required. Perfect. Alright, so let's start into the approach briefing, please. Honestly, the 350 is just such a flying computer. You're moving around and all you see is computer screen after computer screen. It's quite impressive, isn't it? In any case, back to what really matters, and that is our arrival briefing. So, what are we doing? Well, we are going to fly a standard ILS Zulu approach, runway 17 right, minimum's 280, and the MSA on this one, 5,600, 3,200 in the go-around area, which is what's selected in the FMS as well. Then looking down here on the fuel and load page, we have 25 minutes extra in the form of 2,200 kilograms, and well, we are landing about on time. 0700 is the schedule, 0640 right now, that's looking quite good. We'll be at the gate on time. Okay, so flight director guidance, config 3 for the approach, and we can basically let the airplane roll all the way to the end, and then vacate to the left using BTV. Idle reverse, and that's really everything there is to this. Apart from that, I've got nothing special or non-standard. We've already talked about the meters. So with all of that out of the way, approach checklist, please. So, barrel reference, QNH 1003, minimum, baro 280, runway condition, dry, and auto brake, BTV, approach checklist complete. Okay, that was fairly easy so far. So, what do we have now? 1800 meters magenta with alt magenta. At waypoint Alpha Delta 461 we have a maximum of 220 knots, and from there we are pretty quickly going to turn towards the final approach. Looks like there is one other arriving aircraft over there, but probably on a different runway, I guess. And yeah, apart from that, we just started to receive the ident, India X-ray Echo. Let's get the approach chart out. And India X-ray Echo is correct, however we should also receive a DME, which we don't receive just yet.
Daxing approach Xiangjiang 8207, flight level 160.
Xiangjiang 8207, radar contact.
Alright my friends, Beijing. Well, probably not, but a city close to Beijing. Alright, so, well, looks like ATC is not really striving to give us a final vector. In that case, we're really just going to establish ourselves It's a little bit unfortunate that I requested the ILS and they just cleared us for it with that weird "you're just cleared, I don't care" clearance that we got a little bit earlier on, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Okay, approaching the decel point. We do have our flap extension points down there and down there. So that's really all we need.
Korean Air 856, contact
Not much
Beijing
thinking
control
involved.
on 134.45.
So let's see which of those 6 tower and 6 ground frequencies we are eventually going to get. I guess I don't want to know. Otherwise,
Over to Beijing control on 134.45. Korean Air 856.
So another airport down here.
Qatari 8902, contact taxiing tower on 118.375.
118.375 Qatari 87 correction 892. Taxiing tower Qatari 8902 ILS 17 right. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Line 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, glass loop localizer.
Qatari 8902 heavy, taxiing tower, roger. Continue approach runway 17 right.
Block star. Alright, I'm going to intercept the final in config 1+F. We'll ignore the config 2 point over here. I don't think we're gonna need that. Field elevation is 32 feet, so we can just use a standard profile to configure the aircraft here. Looks a little bit misty in front, and I'm not talking about the Pokemon gym leader. All constraint star, descent glass look blue, lock. Glass up star. So go around altitude 1,200 meters set. Is it? Yeah, it is. Wonderful. Okay, easy going. So terrain is not going to be an issue. Let's go back to weather. Well, it's not an issue either. Doesn't matter. Give me terrain. So what? Okay, and with that we are nicely established. So let's just do those items that we gotta do in a few moments anyway. And then we can take over manually. Why did that open the CB page? This is nicer. Alright, so we're going to keep auto thrust in for this one. Since, as far as I'm aware, that is the procedure that Qatar actually wants their pilots to use. And after all, we're going to be able to do both anyway, so might as well use this one to practice another auto thrust on approach.
Qatari 8902 heavy, taxiing tower, winds 125 at 4, runway 17 right, cleared to land.
Runway 17 right, clear to land, Qatari 892 heavy.
Xiamen Air 83906, contact ground on 121.625.
Flaps 2.
Switching to ground, Xiamen Air 83906.
Gear down.
Qatari 8902, please verify your position and repeat your last transmission.
Yeah, I don't know what it understood from my landing clearance readback, but we are not going to verify any position right now. I know my position, even if the DME is broken down here. Alright, flaps 3. Speed check, flap 3. So, will you please send the cabin ready signal? Here we go. Okay, landing checklist. Income memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Alright. 7 hours and 18. Nicely on time. What else could you ask for, huh? Well, a beautiful touchdown, I guess, and you guys are gonna get that. So, this is looking pretty good. Oh, all of a sudden it's so quiet inside. Okay. That sounded wrong for a moment. And what is that glide slope doing? We are a little bit high. Let's see if we can save this. But I don't think so. Well, let's see. If we can put it into the touchdown zone, I'm happy. If not, then we're gonna come back for a second attempt. Alright, touchdown. Reverse green. Decel. Spoilers. $70 knots. Manual brakes. It really sounds like we've lost all our simulator sounds, does it? Okay, so runway is vacated. Qatari 892, runway vacated. Alright, let's stop her for a second. Yeah, listen to
Qatari
this.
892, taxi to the gate via taxiway Alpha. Bravo, hold short of runway 17 left.
Taxi via Alpha Bravo, hold short 17 left, Qatari 892. So, Alpha Bravo. That means... What? There is no Alpha or Bravo over here. Okay, what on earth is going on? You do a 7.5 hour flight and suddenly all your sounds are dying. Why? What if we just go into the walk around mode here for a moment? I mean, this looks amazing, but is that gonna bring our sounds back? No. Or does it? No. Oh gosh, what is happening? Alright, let's call ground on our own. 121975. Taxiing ground, Qatari 892 Heavy. Request taxi to gate 188.
Qatari 892, taxi to gate 188 via Alpha. Good day.
Gate 188 via Alpha, Qatari 892. Good day. That makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. What is going on? So first we lose our custom simulator sounds. I mean, there is no alpha here, is there? It's got to be something like Golf 3, Echo, Tango 4. Okay, don't ask me what's going on now. Something is very, very weird after this landing. But look at that, all the sounds gone. Why? Option. Sounds. But look at that, I'm playing with them and it's still the same thing. Okay, the taxi sounds are back. The rest as well? No. Nope. I have no idea what the simulator is doing with the sounds right now. Very, very weird. Well, just imagine you're wearing noise-cancelling headphones. This is roughly what you could expect anyway. Okay, well, I don't care. Let's just pretend that everything is sounding just fine. And we'll just take it all the way to the gate. That sounds so strange. Okay, so third taxiway to the right, onto Tango 3. And we're clear on the right side. Okay, so let's see if we can at least get some GSX here. By the way, did you notice that we don't hear any sounds from clicking on those menus here as well? So, 188, no follow me needed. Handling by, I don't know, something Chinese. And that's gonna be next on the left-hand side. Okay, 187. So I think there is some AI on our gate. So free this parking from AI.
China Eastern 6307, ready to
Close that
taxi.
off.
China Eastern 6307, taxi to runway 11 left via Yankee 7, Echo Tango 4, Charlie Mike.
Okay, 8 knots, and here we go.
11 left via Yankee 7, Echo
Huge
Tango 4,
terminal
Charlie
building.
Mike, China Eastern 6307.
That's a beautiful scenery, isn't it? Okay, so the guidance system is on, A359 is on there. And then a couple more meters. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on. Stop. Good. APU bleed on. 1, 2. Coming through, all doors in park. Alright, and here we go. Shutting down. So, the bacon is coming off. The doors are disarmed. And the fuel pumps are off. Wonderful. So, temperature 22. Then we are probably going to keep the APU operating. And then let's do the shutdown checklist, please. Or the parking checklist. Happy with that as well. So, parking brake are chocks. That's the parking brake set. And the wing light is off. Parking checklist complete. Well, my friends, that's it. Welcome to Beijing. I hope you guys enjoyed the flight, even though we had that weird sound drop-off in the last stage of the flight here. If you guys have an idea what that's about and how that may happen, then be sure to leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. And with all of that out of the way, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. Be sure to leave your feedback underneath, and I'm very much looking forward to see you all again on the next one. In the meantime, if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below.